Hello you guys, I did promise another book video, so here it is. It's kind of funny because I'm wearing the exact same shirt as last time because I've read a bunch of books since then, and I'm gonna add some in here. I'm gonna make them in a clean section, or I would say pretty much no scenes in it, and then a fade to black. And I'll explain it. So not clean per se, but it means that there's no actual scenes or anything in it. So there's the two different ones. So I have got a lot of books today to share with you guys, so I'm excited. I hope you guys will enjoy. So let's get right into this video. Okay, so the first one is a fade to black-ish. This one's a Twilight series. Okay, and here's the thing. My mom is currently reading the first book, so it's upstairs, so I don't feel like getting it right now, but I do have the rest of the series with me, so I'll show you guys. But the Twilight series, I'll get one to show you guys. For the sticker, it's very annoying, but this one is New Moon, and it's by Stephanie Meyer, so this is the second book in the series. But basically what it's about is a girl named Bella. Her parents divorced, and so she goes with her dad, and she's been there once or twice, so she knows some people, but kind of like the new girl, it reunited with the school, kind of, if that makes sense. And so she don't really know how I feel about this place. Like, I'm just like, I don't really know how I feel. And then she meets Edward the vampire, and there's just so much drama. It's very interesting. There's a love triangle in it, and it's really good. The storyline is really great. I'd recommend it to anybody who's wanting a good story that has that's kind of a fantasy vibe, but this is like such a good mixture. It reminds me a lot of dystopian romance for whatever reason, mixed with a fantasy romance. So it's like the romance is a subplot, but there's a lot of really good parts in the books. Now I will say there are some parts of the book that is sadder than others, so there are some sadder and more depressing things. There is definitely some stuff to look up, like the main character is a little bit suicidal, so take that. There's some triggers on there that may trigger somebody, so I was, it didn't bother me, but some other people may. So I really liked the series though. I'd rate it 5 out of 5, and it's such a good storyline because you get to kind of see her trying to experience life, and she meets the love of her life, and it's fun trying to get to see kind of like the fact that he's a vampire and she's a human, and that he's thirsty for her blood, but he's able to kind of control it. But she's like, I fell in for a vampire, like how does this happen, so it's just interesting. And a lot of people read the movies, and I'll agree that the movies are worse, I'm not gonna lie. The other movies are better, but the first movie is very cringy, especially the acting is not the best, but I know that they were paid to do that, so I'm not complaining, but just saying that I think that if somebody actually took a chance with the books, they would really, really enjoy it. Now, why I'm putting this in the kind of closed door kind of not is because there is a scene end of the book near the end. I think it's the third or fourth book. There's only one scene, and the topic is mentioned a couple times, but not really but the thing is, it's very cut to black. There's maybe the teeny detail where something's happening, but then it cuts. There's something else that you need to know. So it's very interesting in that sense. I like that personally better because there was no really I would rather not know it all, but in the book you just have to read it and then you'll understand why it's part of the storyline. But yeah, so you guys will definitely enjoy this. I really enjoyed the book. That's no spoilers, but I really think if I haven't intrigued you enough, there is also werewolves, and the love interest is a werewolf. So let that tell you, it's very interesting. I recommend this. Please do read the Twilight series. And even as a Christian, I still really like the book series, and I've heard a lot while reading it, but I still think it's great. So moving on to the next book. So I just realized a lot of the other ones, okay, this is the only other romance I have because a lot of them have romances, but it's subplot, so there's nothing in it. This one is by Sarah Destin, and oh my goodness, it's called Keeping the Moon. I really enjoyed this one, especially as a teenage girl. I'm like, okay, here's the thing. I hit this up because one, there's friendships. She's learning a lot. So basically, it's about this 15-year-old girl named Coley, and so she moved to this place with her aunt for a little bit, and so I think she's been there maybe a little bit. Okay, here's the thing. She's been there a little bit when she was a kid, but she goes there again, and so it's very interesting. It's kind of her growing up as a person mixed with kind of overcoming her insecurities and what other people say about her, because she's known as a lot of really nasty words and a lot of things said about her. But there is the romance plot, which I think is really interesting. It's a little slower on the romance, but I think from the beginning, it still intrigues you in every aspect. The romance, the friendships, and everything just really intrigues you, and it's just so many fun things in here that I really enjoyed. So it is a smaller book, but I definitely recommend it. This is my first Sarah Destin book because I read along for the ride. I watched Along for the Ride, and now I have to read the book, and that's what started with me reading this. So this is really, really good, but I recommend this one. She lands herself at a job, and then through that she meets the love of her life and some of her really good friends. And it's a little confusing though. I think the ages at first, there's one of the characters, I won't say who, but they're older, and I'm a little confused because I'm her best friends are older than her, and so it didn't clarify what the ages were, so I was really confused at first, and then it all starts to make sense when you get more into the book. But yeah, it's just interesting because she kind of makes her life here, and it makes it fun because she's kind of meets new people and she really finds her people here. It's a really fun, cute little story, and I read it in 2 days. The first day I was like, okay, this is good, but I was intrigued but also not fully into it, and the second day I stayed up till 12. That's not a normal thing. That's not a normal thing. And I finished this book. So let that tell you. This one, ladies and gentlemen, please read this one because you will not be disappointed. It's not one of those cringy books. Like, I really hate those cringy, awful books that it's like, ugh. This one was not that though. It was super cute, super lighthearted, super fluffy, super adorable, and just, oh, this really was amazing. So I really recommend this one. Next one is Picture This by Kath Ubarbo. And I haven't, okay, so this is kind of, there is a whole series, and I actually read the 10th one first. But you can read them, they're standalone books, so you can read them in any order you'd like, but it's really fun. So it's Secrets of Wayfarer Inn. Now there is a little bit of history to it, but I really like the way it is. The back, I was like, I don't know, but I ended up trying it. I really enjoyed it. I also have the other one as well. I liked it so much about the other one. It's a very cozy mystery. There is also another subplot, which I'm not really sure. It's like a history subplot, and I don't really know where it fits in with the storyline, to be honest, but there's like a mystery. There's just so many different things going on that makes it really interesting. There's some romance, and there's just like all sorts of things. This one was a really good book. I actually really like this one, and this is definitely a good book, especially when you want kind of more fluffy murder mystery. And then, well, it's not really a murder mystery, sorry, it's a mystery per se, but basically there's 3 girls who own an inn, I think maybe 3 or 4, and so they just kind of see a lot of drama, and there's different, so each book I think is based on a different place, so that, yeah, or I think it's like the same people but different areas, so it's kind of fun, or like different storylines but similar, based on like the same main characters and then other side characters. But it's very fun because this reminds me a lot of Murder Mystery, the Murder Mystery 1 and 2, except without the murder part. I just think it's a very fun book. Like, I would say that it's very interesting because there's friendships, there's definitely romance blooming, and there's like, because even the main girl's point of view that it's from really has a lot of romance, just kind of like little drizzled everywhere, which is really interesting in my personal opinion, and I really enjoyed it. So let that be said. This is definitely a really good book that you want to read. This one was definitely a 4.5 for me, or 3.5, because there was some parts that was slower than others, but I think reading this one, I still think now that I let it time to marinate, like, it was really good. So I enjoyed that one. Death at the Kachu Vermont. This one I'm still reading, so I don't have a rating or anything for you yet, but I want to tell you guys this one because, oh, I'm pretty sure it's like it's a classic, pagan classic as well, but it's made by M.L. Longworth, and it looks really interesting. And basically, I really can kind of tell you what it's about, but I really can't yet, so I'm just going to read off the back because I can't really tell you much about what it's about, but I do recommend this book because I'm already really enjoying it so far. It's a little confusing because there's a lot of French words, and I'm like, this is my time to learn French because, you know, it's a little confusing. And I've been in my murder area, oh my goodness, in my mystery area. This one is a murder mystery though. So basically, now nobleman, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, okay, because I don't even know, no thank you. Etienne de Bremont falls to his death from the family Kachu. It says the idyllic town of Annexin, Provenance, abuzz with rumors. Antoine, I cannot say the names. Antoine and Blackwell, the husband and seductive thief magistrate of Aix, suspects foul play. And when he discovers that Bremont had been a close friend of his ex-girlfriend, Marine, Verlacu turns to her for help. Many of Alex's local citizens could have been benefited from Bremont's death, including his playboy brother Francis. I don't know. It's really interesting. It's kind of a fun little murder mystery thing that I'm enjoying. I do like this one. I know, I'm sorry. This one definitely is giving a lot more murder, like the actual murder mystery movie. It's giving a lot, but it's a completely different plot. Like, this played out literally like a movie in my head. This one is a 5 out of 5. Like, this one was so good. Like, I just, I devoured it. This one is basically, oh my goodness, I'm having to remember, but I know. Okay, so when Evie Mead's husband, Robert, suddenly drops dead of heart attack, a mysterious note is found among his possessions. It indicates that Evie may own the rights to a crumbling hotel in Terrific Rock, one of Isles of Scilly off the coast of Cornwall. Till grieving, Evie is inclined to leave the matter to the accountant to sort out. Her sister Margot, however, flown in from her glamorous career in LA, has other plans. Envisioning a luxurious weekend getaway, she goes ahead and buys 2 round trips to Terror. So once in the hotel, there's this whole like murder mystery thing happens. There's like a bunch of different characters. You can just tell by this is actually adorable, and it's a really interesting murder mystery because one person drops dead and it's kind of like the whole thing of like trying to figure out who did it, and everybody's suspecting each other, and it's just a lot of drama, and it's like plot twists, and it just played out literally like a movie in my head, and I absolutely loved it. Like even the location too, I could picture it all in my head. It was really, really good, so I really enjoyed this one. And then the last one that's not a mystery is Eleanor Applehand's Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. Not this one. Doesn't really have a lot of romance. It does kind of have a romance plot for me. Like it's a romance, but it's like, okay, here's the thing. It's not like a full-blown romance where it's like meant to be a romance, but you can kind of tell there's something there. Does that make sense? But this is a really, really good book. It's basically about this girl who has like either autism or she's definitely not okay. And this one's definitely a little sadder, so definitely like this is a Penguin classic, but just make sure to look up the triggers on this one. But this one was very interesting in a weird, odd way. Like she's very different than most people, and she has a really bad childhood, and just there's so many different things and mysteries unfolding, and I think you guys will enjoy this one. So there we go. The last final one, this one is a closed door book because there's one scene in the very end, but it doesn't really tell you much that happens, and this one's Divine Rivals. This one's kind of fun. It's just like a mystery book, and it's kind of all over the place, but I really like this one, except there's definitely some sad parts about it. But basically it's about enemies to lovers. The enemies to lovers is separated from the main character and another dude at her work, and so it's kind of like a enemies to lovers because they work at a magazine together, which is really interesting. And then there's this like whole subplot of like 2 heads or whatever like fighting at each other, and so they're using people and stuff, and so it's just an interesting kind of story because you get to kind of see both of their stories and they somehow have some deep connection. It's just really cool to see how this book plays out, and it's a really cute storyline and everything, and the enemies to lovers is definitely on point. When I read the second one, maybe, I don't know, but I feel like the first one was kind of a little sad in some parts because of the whole like war thing. That definitely got me crying, but this is definitely a really good emotional read that's like really happy and then like just like emotions mixed in. It's really good. I really, really recommend this one. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it's kind of shorter, but let me know what you'd like to see next, and I'll try to make another video with some clean books once I read more because I know you guys probably like them. Now, I'm not saying this is like clean, there's no swear words or nothing, like there may be some stuff in it, but I just mean like there's no actual scenes in it. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. Remember that you're so very loved, and let me know what you'd like to see next time. Peace out. Bye.